coming into the year, I think all three of us had the Colts winning the AFC South in 2022. They went 4
Yeah, we
12
did.
and 1.
We
So
did.
the question pops up, how do the Indianapolis Colts win 4 games when they bring in Matt Ryan, hoping to make a playoff push? The answer would be Jim Irsay stepping in the middle of the season, though Matt Ryan had a 500 record, and saying, we're done with you. We're also done with Frank Reich because the Patriots' defensive lines are going to ruin our O-line that's injured, so we're going to fire him, bring Jeff Saturday to fix the O-line, which he actually helped in fixing that offensive line, but ultimately the Colts weren't good enough to win games, and they also were trying to tank to get the best quarterback available on the board. So, moving into the NFL draft, I don't think any of us expected the Colts to have anywhere near a top 5 pick. Yet they have the 4th overall selection behind the Cardinals, Texans, and Bears. Now, the team in the offseason made a pretty big time hire, Brandon Shane Steichen. And with only about $12 million in cap space, Jared, to hit to you first things up. You've talked about this Colts team a little bit. What do you think about the Colts offseason plans? What's the biggest priority? Where should they target with a 4th overall pick? Or maybe something higher in the draft?
Ah, man, the Colts. What to do, what to do. So disappointing, man. I think at one point I had them when we were doing our top five. I think I had them at five in one of my rankings because I expected so much. Going into the season, they were a quarterback away for all these years. It was, you went with Phillip Rivers, you went with Carson Wentz, and instead of making a big splash and getting a real A1 quarterback, you go get Matt Ryan. And while I thought Matt Ryan still had plenty left in the tank, um, shows he didn't.
He couldn't
Uh,
have.
so yeah, the Colts massively dropped off, and I don't want to say that their roster is depleted of talent because it's not. It has plenty of good pieces, and reworking that O line, Quentin Nelson regressed. Uh, I think once they get all that situated, the main goal is just quarterback. That's really what it's going to be. Get a quarterback to feed Michael Pittman the ball. I don't know if Paris Campbell's going to be there next year, but you got to find weapons to bolster that offense because that has been what's let them down over and over again. It's not the defense. It's really not the offensive line, even though, like I said, the offensive line wasn't what it used to be. It's the quarterback. You don't have that guy, and that seems to ring true for so many franchises, but specifically this one, a team that since Andrew Luck has been retired, they haven't found that guy, and they've been having more than good rosters to compete. So if I'm the Colts, you're probably drafting a quarterback, but it needs to be somebody that you're absolutely sold on. You're not going to get Bryce Young because he's probably going to go to the other team that we're going to talk about in Houston. Are you going to get a Will Levis? Are you going to get a Stroud? I don't
This
know what.
is this is what I think, and I think I actually predicted it when we talked about the signing, John, of Shane Steichen to the Indianapolis Colts, and they had the 4th pick. I said, think about how he called the offense in Philadelphia, Justin. Think about what kind of quarterback he had in Philadelphia.
Mm.
Think about how the type of success he had in Philadelphia with that type of quarterback. Who's the quarterback that we just got into a pretty heated argument with before the show? That would be one Mr.
Hey,
Anthony
Rich.
Richardson.
Out of
And
Florida.
Anthony Richardson, John is saying is, I'll PG it for you, an effing phenomenal runner. All right.
I repeated
So
that
if
twice.
that's the type of offense you want to run, you would think, ding, 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 circle gets the square. Look what he's got right there. Johnny, tell him what he's won. An Anthony Richardson prize. So I think that's where they're going at the number 4th pick. I think that they're going to go. If he wants to run the same type of offense, you got Anthony Richardson right there. I think that's where they go.
I think
So
part of what made Steichen such a great hire is that he also spent time with Justin Herbert his rookie season, and years before that, Philip Rivers too, from his time stemming from North Turner back in the day in Los Angeles. I He's getting hyped up for Anthony Richardson 4th overall, your dog. That's what it is. I look at
It's not even
this.
my dog. That's the thing that's getting me so annoyed.
It happens. Like Carmelo is the same thing. I look at this Colts team, and I feel like the biggest weakness is Michael Pittman is a great number 2, but he's not number 1. You need a number 1 receiver, so you can have Pittman be the 2 and Alec Pierce be the 3. 2 great players on the outside. You need a right guard. Will Fry's not doing it for me. But at tackle, I mean, Bernard Raymond played very well in the second half of the season. I think Quentin Nelson with better health can be good. You've got Kelly and also the right tackle too, Brandon Smith. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone in the offensive line. It's just adding one more guy in the interior. And then I look, of course, at quarterback. That's a clear need. But for this Colts team, I think I have to go with the quarterback with the highest upside long term. Because Andrew Luck retired, and since then he haven't been able to find an elite level player. And settling for C.J. Stroud, who has the lowest ceiling, I think, of any quarterback in this draft, would be the wrong move. I think you need to shoot for a home run and let in Anthony Richardson, if you take him, Brandon, sit for a year and a half because he won't be ready-made day one. And maybe you bring in a bridge quarterback like Jacoby Brissett yet again for a year and use this as an intermediate season. I think Steichen's going to do a great job with Jonathan Taylor, who missed a good portion of last year with an ankle injury, had only 800 rushing yards, which was cut in half from 2021. The Colts are in pretty good shape, and it's a good thing that they didn't ruin the head coach because I thought Irsay was going to. Now, flipping it to the other side of the ball, defensively, they have some big-time players. Stephon Gilmore is still elite. Shaq Leonard.
Aging, I think, John.
Is he?
I think
I'll check in a moment. Shaq
Gilmore.
Leonard missed a huge portion of last year as well, coming off injury. You get him back into the lineup as well. I feel like this Colts team with a lot of their guys on the outside, Kenny Moore, Zaire Franklin, and DeForest Buckner on the interior, this can be a really good defense. A really good defense with Gus Bradley, but they probably need to have a little bit more depth there, of course, on the defensive line, add a little bit more in the secondary, get younger there. And realistically, they'll have a chance to win this division next year. Not picking them to, but I do think they can win a lot more than 4 games. Because let's be honest, last year, the offensive line was terrible early on, and I'm expecting it to be a lot better in 2023.
I think that they can be the second best team, depending on what quarterback they get in this division. There's no way in hell I think that they're going to compete with the Jaguars. Yeah, I like the points that you made, John. I think that they got the pieces, man. Now they need to do what they've failed to do since Andrew Luck retired. That's really it.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who wins more playoff games over the next 5 years? Frank Reich in Carolina or Shane Steichen in Indianapolis?
Next 5 years, both teams don't have
Extend it to 8.
quarterbacks.
I'll say Carolina. I think from what we saw from them last season, I think they're well on their way to finding, the right track.
I'll say Carolina, but I'm not confident in either of those.
I'm not putting money in either.
But the thing is, look at the state of the NFC South.
Yeah, you can say. I mean, yeah, but then they have to go in the playoffs. They just neither team have a quarterback right now, so it's hard for me to
Right
see
now.
what they're going to be. And then you say, look at what the Panthers did last year, but that was also under a different coach. We don't know how they're going to react to Frank Reich.
Mm-hmm.
We like Frank Reich, but we don't know how the team's going to react. Are they going to play the same way that they played? Or his name is escaping me. The interim
Matt
head coach.
Rule. I'd imagine.
No. The interim head coach.
Steve Wilkes.
Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, Steve Wilkes. So I don't know if they're going to play the same way. Not Matt Rule. Forget it. We don't have to talk about Matt Rule ever again.
On the Gilmore front, he is on contract for $10 million. He has a $12 million cap hit, which is well worth it. But they do have an out this offseason for $2 million dead.
I wouldn't be surprised if they take that out.
Really?
Yeah.
He's still elite corner.
No, I know. I'm not disagreeing with you there, but I think that if looking at cap casualties and be like, which player can we afford to lose? We'll lose an old cornerback.
I wouldn't mind
yes, I
bringing
know.
him back
You're
home.
in New England?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Pittsburgh, Justin. Yeah, no, I think with this Colts team, another question is what happens to Matt Ryan? Because I don't think he's this terrible, unusable back.
I think that he can be their bridge quarterback then.
You think he could?
I mean, unless the relationship between the team and him is just not, rekindleable, whatever the word is. So unless that's the case, then I don't know. But if it's not, then why not just keep him on there?
I think Matt Ryan's out.
So slow.
I think he winds up in
so slow.
San Francisco.
I mean, it's like Jimmy Garoppolo if he literally could not move. I don't know.
He'll be gone. Find him in San Francisco. Let him be the vet over there to back up whoever is going to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
Playing a system he's familiar with.
Bring
back Jacoby Brissett if that's the case. If you don't have a quarterback that's capable of starting day one, I think the quarterback that is capable of starting day one will be playing up in Houston. And I think Houston's they're going to surprise a lot of people this year.
Mhm.
No, they're
I
not.
also think the Colts are going to surprise some people and take Will Levis ahead of Anthony Richardson, but it's neither here nor there.